You know, I started playing poker a long time ago. I had to do something because everybody kept telling me how boring I was. I mean, everybody kept telling me I was a bore. One time I had a Jehovah's Witness in my living room say to me, "Hey, I gotta go." But this is actually one of two pilots that I'm pitching to the networks right now. The other one I'm really excited about. It's I want to take O.J. Simpson, Robert Blake, Scott Peterson, put them in one house, call it Last Convict Standing. Whoever comes out alive gets to kill Paris Hilton. How about that for an idea? And we can tell the winner, look, we know you guys like to kill the hot blondes, but this time don't shoot her, don't stab her, shove a branding iron up her ass so her last words can be, "That's hot." Perfect finish for this talentless anorexic. You know, she just got out of jail and she's already in trouble again already. Did you see this? They just caught her with 5 ounces in her purse. Lucky for her, it turned out to be Nicole Richie. And she's pregnant now. Good to see Nicole's finally eating for one. But anyway, the subject tonight here is Texas Holdem. I'll give you a little personal background. Started playing my senior year in college, paid my room and board, then I graduated and found out that I was making 3 times more money playing poker than I was at my day job. So I quit Burger King. And if you wanted to be a player, I got cheated. I got robbed. I was at gunpoint 3 times. Finally, I said, that is enough of this. I got a divorce. That kind of abuse. But what we're going to do tonight is, first of all, by applause, has anybody here never played poker Texas Holdem before? Good. That means this show is also for you. If you have questions, feel free to stick your hand up. Give a card to the lovely Anya if you don't want to do it that way. She will read it off to me and we will take it. The only stupid question is the one you don't ask. And with that, do we have something to start with? Well, we start with watching her walk across the stage. Those are the legs of a dancer.
What if you really need to pee during the middle of a tournament? That's actually a question for a lady, but are you wearing diapers?
No. When we started this show, Bob made it very specific. There was not going to be any bathroom here. So with that, I think we've handled the pee question. Does anyone have a poop question we can go with? Let's balance things out. This is the official uniform of the New Jack TV bred poker player, the sunglasses. If you ever see me wearing sunglasses in a poker game, it means one of 2 things. Either there is a hot-looking lady across the room doing yoga wearing a miniskirt, or the guy next to me is showing me his cards. That's the only reason why I'd ever be wearing. Now, a lot of people say, isn't it wrong to look at somebody's cards? I always say the same thing. Ladies, if you lift up your skirt, I'm going to look every time. Doesn't make me a pervert. That's kind of the reason. If you show me your hand, I'm going to look every time. Now, where it becomes wrong, where you cross the line, is mirrors. If you're setting up a mirror to actually look at your opponent's hand, that's wrong. Just like in the case of the skirt, if you're putting a mirror on your shoe, that's wrong too. You don't want to do that.
Is there a 2-drink minimum at Texas Holdem?
A 2-drink minimum in Texas Holdem. You know, actually, there's a lot of players that do drink and play, and they usually call them broke.
Are there any guidelines for bluffing? And how important is it that you be able to bluff well?
There's 2 kinds of bluffs. There's what we call a stone cold bluff, and there's what we call a semi-bluff. And when you're capable of reading your opponents well, and you do know how to bluff, you basically have a license to steal. I agree with that.
Yeah. What if you have to pee? What? No.
When people watch poker on television, they're really getting a false perception of what it is. And it's a whole lot less glamorous than it really appears to be. Because most of the labor of poker gets done when you're not playing a hand. You throw your cards away, and rather than checking out the legs on the lovely lady walking by, or the TV set, or reading a sports magazine, you're studying the people that are in the hand, looking for tendencies or what we call tells. But after you watch these, practice these, while you're not emotionally involved in the hand, Now when the time comes that you are actually playing against these people, you plug in the information you have gained studying your opponents. That is the job, the labor, the work.
Was the movie Rounders realistic?
Roger's quick review of Rounders. Piece of shit. Okay. I coached a couple of people in a movie called Lucky You, and I love Roper's one-word review of this poker movie, Lucky You. Flush. Okay, we have another question.
What is the best way to play against people who know what they're doing if you don't?
Get out and find a game where people don't know what they're doing. That really is it. This is not, poker is a game where you keep score with money.
Well, here's a question on the importance of position.
Wow, that's a very good place. Position. Who here has not played blackjack? Good. We have something to work off of. Who here has not gotten their ass kicked playing blackjack? Now, when you're playing blackjack, you are always under the gun. Therefore, out of position, under the gun, ends up building the Bellagio. That's how it works. Now, where does this go in Texas Holdem? When you are out of position in Texas Holdem, meaning you are under the gun, you are the one that has to act first. There are 4 betting rounds. That means you are out of position 4 times in a row.
Straight to the court, what is the easiest way to cheat at Texas Holdem?
The places that are legal in California are about as on the square as you can get. They have no reason to cheat. They're not making anything off the players. They get what they make off the game right down the draw slot by an hourly rate from each player. So they have a very large motivation to keep the game straight. So.
How can you watch Texas Holdem without it being dull? Is there, for example, a drinking game version? Or
Actually, something had to replace the fishing channel. And I've always thought that one of the best minds in Hollywood was the editor for the Fishing Channel. What part of that show was too boring to put on the air? That had to be a tough job. Next question.
But then that loops around to the peeing question.
The peeing question is coming back. I can see we have definitely got, this is going to be renamed. Texas Holdem On Demand is now Golden Showers Poker. From here on in, that's how we're going to fix this up good. We get the peeing, the all peeing. But there are 4 betting rounds in Texas Holdem. The first is when everybody gets their first individual 2 cards, round 1. Then 3 cards come up in the middle of the table. There will be 3 of what will eventually be 5, which are community cards that play for everyone. Those 3 cards are also called the flop. That is round 2. Then there's the 4th card, which is called the turn or 4th street. That is round 3. Then the last card is some called 5th street or the river, which is round 4.
Does it help you to wear a Texas Longhorns shirt or a cowboy hat? Or a combination, or both? What's the dress code?
Well, you already set the bar pretty high on the dress code. Let's just be honest about that. It's been a very uplifting experience standing here on stage. That's all I can say. Actor has an enormous short-term luck factor. And I often make the example that if you have an athletic background, it's a really rough transition to get into poker because of what you just said. If I challenge Michael Jordan to a one-on-one basketball game, he'll beat me 100 times out of 100. But there's nobody ever that you could sit down with the best poker player and just explain the rules to somebody brand new, that person doesn't have a chance that for the next 18 hours, the deck will just run over them and they'll beat the top player in the world hand after hand after hand. What the difference is that makes poker a game of skill is in the long run, the best players will always win. And that's what takes the patience. It's very difficult to keep your emotions in check when you have an athletic background and you have the I'm not going to let anybody beat me attitude. There's nice when you just have to hang it up and quit. And you also have to accept the fact that somebody that doesn't have any business beating you often will. To finish the show off, I usually like to end on somewhat of a serious note, which is never set down an amount of money that it is going to upset you to lose. If you do, you will lose it every time. If you walk into a poker game and everyone's, oh great, Roger's here, sit down, let's move some chairs, let's put Roger down. Time to quit, find another game. You're it. You're the sucker they're looking for. If you find that this is getting more control over you than you have over it, go to a meeting, get some help, stay away from this. It does lead to other games, that's the purpose. With that, thank you very much. One more time for Tanya, one more time for Bill Skipper,